Welcome to the first episode of Drive New England. I'm your host, Craig Fitzgerald. The New England Motor Press Association has produced automotive content all over the place for the last 35 years in places like the Boston Globe, Car Talk, Car Gurus, Popular Mechanics, all over the place. We're from New England, we know New England, and we know you are from New England, and you like to hear it straight, and that's just what you're going to get from us. We're going to give you interviews, we're going to give you new car stuff, we're going to give you old car stuff, and we're going to provide you content that you can only get here from New England. This episode, we're going to go up to New Hampshire on the seacoast with Zane Merva and a brand new Hyundai Sonata. We're going to go down to Connecticut and talk to Wayne Carini and see what he's got going on in his garage. And then we're going to go back to Massachusetts and talk to my buddy John Paul, who's going to talk to the chief engineer for the all-new electric Cadillac Lyriq. And then we're going to go answer some questions, and we're going to check out what's in the NEMPA garage. Stick around. Hope you like the episode.
Thanks a lot, Craig. I'm Zane Merva from the new YouTube channel, Drive Them All, and I've been a member of the New England Motor Press Association for the past 15 years and a resident of New England for over 35. So I know what kind of vehicles we need to drive around on a yearly basis or take some time in the summer to go have some fun in. And if you're getting ready to enjoy your summer vacation and you want to head down to the coast and have a vehicle that will comfort you and give you a lot of style and features in the process, then look no further to the 2021 Hyundai Sonata. The first thing you're going to notice about this new Hyundai Sonata is that it's quite the looker. Now, that may not be something that you're experienced or used to equating with the Hyundai Sonata if you're familiar with the brand over the past couple decades. They haven't always been the most exciting vehicles to look at, but I'll tell you what, this thing has good looks in spades. And not only does it have good looks, but it has good technology and features as well. So in an effort to get you a little more acquainted to what this Sonata has to offer, we're going to take a trip up the coastline and stop at a few key places and talk about exactly what this generation Hyundai Sonata has to offer. The Hyundai Sonata we're driving today is a limited trim that stickers for exactly $35,000, which is an incredible value when you start to learn what sort of features that Hyundai's included in this vehicle. From the 80s up until just a few years ago, the Hyundai Sonata was traditionally designed with the three-box sedan motif at its core: the hood, the glass, and the passenger compartment, and the trunk. But as you can see from this car, that's no longer the case. It has this futuristic, sweeping design from its LED headlights in the front to its LED taillights in the rear. The Sonata gives off this high technology vibe. And while we're here at this angle, I do want to point out those tires. Yes, those are Pirelli P0s, which means that in the corners and twisties, you're going to have way more fun than you deserve for an affordable mid-size sedan. Not only does this Sonata have a 1.6 liter turbocharged gasoline direct injection engine that makes 180 horsepower, but it gets around 40 miles per gallon on the highway, which is absolutely incredible. Inside, you're going to find a large digital gauge cluster with a big infotainment screen that's Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatible. And not only all that, it has some neat features like remote smart parking assist and a round view monitor and blind view monitors inside of the gauge cluster. For the price, this Sonata offers an exceptionally featured interior. You've got a full digital gauge cluster, a rich, large infotainment center that is Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatible, a wireless charger, dual zone climate control, heated and cooled seats for days like today when it's really hot, a leather wrapped steering wheel, multiple drive modes, a push button automatic transmission. I mean, this car has it all. Features that you would only expect in a vehicle that costs tens of thousands of dollars more, except the Hyundai Sonata doesn't. Another cool thing that I'd like to mention is that Hyundai includes a sound pack for those really stressful days after a long day at work, when you just want to go home and relax on your commute home. As we drive up the coast here in the Sonata, I wanted to make a few comments on how it actually drives when you're behind the wheel. The 1.6 liter engine gives you 180 horsepower, which is enough for every day, but it's not going to knock your socks off. In fact, it's more tuned for fuel economy, and in that regard, it excels quite nicely. I've been able to get around 40 miles per gallon on the highway and in the low 30s dueling around here on the coast. And that's actually really impressive for a mid-size car of this size. The steering on the Sonata is tight and responsive, and it doesn't float over the bumps. You feel like you have a real good connection to the road without the suspension being too harsh. And for its value and price range, it's kind of hard to beat the Sonata and what it offers you to drive on a daily basis. So there you have it, the Hyundai Sonata, a great vehicle for a quintessential drive up the New England coast in the summertime. I'm Zane Merva, and if you want to see more car reviews like I've just done, then search me out, Drive Them All, on YouTube. Now we're going to head to another NEMPA member, one who's only slightly more famous than I am, Wayne Carini.
Test driving two different trucks today. They're both Fords. This is a Platinum F-150 Powerboost, all aluminum body. It's got a 10-speed transmission. This is a 1951 Ford F1, and this is the pickup truck of the 50s that was so popular, such a great looking truck. And we're going to compare both trucks today. This has got a 3-speed on the column, flathead V8. Ford on my left here is a Powerboost 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine producing over 440 horsepower. Amazing. So today we're test driving a 2021 F-150 Powerboost. This truck's got a 3.5 liter V6, pumps out 440 horsepower. Just unbelievable amount of horsepower for a V6. And it's a hybrid though. So it's got electric power as well as the big horsepower from that little V6. What's great about it is that the fuel economy is unbelievable. It gets 20 to 25 miles to the gallon, 700 miles on a tank full, and can tow over 12,000 pounds, which is sort of looking at an F-350 style of a tow capacity. So it's fuel efficient, quiet to drive. I'm going to push the button. I'm going to start it up. If you notice over on the tachometer, it's at 0. That's because we're now in electric mode. It says electric drive right on there. Put it in drive, take off, and we're in electric.
So the disembodied voice you're hearing is John. And Wayne, what do you think of something like this as a primary vehicle as opposed to just something to use to do work in?
Well, I think over the years, all the truck manufacturers, in particular Ford, has recognized that for a homeowner, this is a family vehicle. So you've got a 5-passenger vehicle. It's got towing capacity of 12,000 pounds. It's got a bed to throw things in, go to Home Depot, go to the dump, whatever you may want to do.
I mean, I understand all those things, but then you have like features like the generator, which really make it like a work truck, or the disappearing shifter, so you can be on a work site on your computer. I mean, this really is kind of the best of both worlds at a price tag that I guess if you think about it isn't that bad.
Well, not compared to a lot of cars. I mean, listen, there's a lot of cars in the $30,000 range, $25,000 range. But if you want something that does basically everything for you, so you could bring this to a job site if you're in the carpentry business. You could run all your saws all day. You don't need a generator, a separate generator. If something goes wrong with the power in your house, you can plug your house into this car and it's going to run the refrigerator, let's say. You're not going to run air conditioners or anything, but the bare essentials to get you so that you can live in the house.
I think the most amazing thing is that this thing can tow, what, 12,000 pounds?
12,000 pounds. So, I mean, that's a big car trailer with a car in the back of it. So, towing capacity is unbelievable. And 0 to 60 in just about 5 seconds. Now, in 1962 or 3, one of the fastest cars available at that period of time was hard to believe. It was a Pontiac Catalina 2+2 with a 421, and it would do sub 5 second 0 to 60s. But this is a small 3.5 liter V6. It's very quiet, very fuel efficient, and comfortable.
I mean, this thing is, you know, and we'll show some of the trim later. I mean, it's real wood, it's Alcantara, the leather's beautiful.
Yeah, this is the Platinum Edition. They make, of course, their four-wheel drive truck is probably the most popular pickup truck, and it is the most popular pickup truck in the world, by the way, the F-150, and the most popular vehicle in the world. So they sell more F-150s than any other vehicle in the world. It's just totally amazing, and that's been for years now. They make it in a four-wheel drive and a two-wheel drive. A lot of places out west, they don't need four-wheel drive. So two-wheel drive is a lot easier, and it brings the price of the vehicle down. And that's what you got to try to do for contractors and people who just need a utility vehicle. So they make it just a bare bones interior on it. But if you want luxury, this premium Platinum is just unbelievable.
I think that's what actually sells the vehicle, to have it be so nice and so practical at the same time.
Yeah, we were talking about wood, so all the wood on the door panels on the dash is real wood. These features around the screen are really great. You know, the touch and feel, that's what everybody wants these days, is a nice interior. You don't want a bunch of plastic.
No, it's got contrasting stitching. I think it's all really neat. It's very well done.
Very well done. Now we're back at the farm, and of course this is not a farm where we keep animals. This is a farm where we keep horsepower. So one of the cool things, though, if I'm here and I want to make a look at my computer and maybe write some notes, write an email or two, all I have to do is push this button. The shifter disappears. Then I can put my laptop here. I can do some work. And if I want to go again, I just push the button. The shifter comes out of the hole there, and I put it in reverse. Now, another fact is that, let's say that I pull up here and I don't remember to push the shifter and put it in park. If I shut it off and push the button here, the shifter automatically goes into park for me. So, and this is a really unique feature too, which a lot of cars have today. It says check your rear seat. So once you've parked your vehicle, there's a reminder, because children have been left in cars in the past, and so that's a little reminder. Please check the back seat, and just in case you forgot that somebody's asleep in your back seat, like your 2-year-old. You've got great 120 volt, 110 here. I mean, it's amazing. You can plug things in here. You can plug your hair dryer in there, and if your wife wants to dry her hair on a way,
I wouldn't recommend that, but it's all right. I'm sure it works.
Also got another feature where you can automatically push this button. It's 4-wheel drive, but you can also, up here, you can adjust this so that this thing will park a trailer for you. It's really astonishing. I haven't tried that yet, but I've seen it advertised, and it's pretty amazing stuff.
Can you demonstrate the lay flat seats?
So yeah, so one of the things when I'm driving and I'm going on a trip, I love to drive, but yet I get fatigued, I get tired. And one of the best things I find that I can do is pull over to the side of the road, find a rest stop, a truck stop, something like that, and take a little 15 to 20 minute nap. And it really rejuvenates you. It really makes everything go much better. So usually car seats will go back to about this position, but here in the Ford, they figured out that maybe you want a little more recline in the seat. So it reclines like this, and go all the way back, take a nice nap. So now that you've seen the Powerboost F-150, it's time to drive the 1951 F1 Ford. A little different steering than that power steering in the F-150. As you probably remember me talking when I was driving the F-150, how quiet it was. Well, this is not exactly quiet. It's a little bouncy, but it is a cool truck. Even though that Powerboost doesn't have an exhaust note, there's nothing like a nice flathead Ford exhaust note. It's a beautiful sound. So we just had a passerby blow the horn at us. You know, it's one thing cool about old trucks. Everybody loves them. Now, it doesn't have the power of the EcoBoost, the Powerboost, but it also said 70 years older. Can you imagine that this truck is 70 years older than that 2021 Ford Powerboost? Amazing. Not exactly the smoothest and easiest ride, a little noisy, but still a lot of fun. Yeah, you sit up high, you're able to see out the windows. It's a great ride. You know, the first vehicle I ever drove on the street, my grandfather had a 49 Chevy 5-window pickup truck. And he allowed me to drive it on the road when I was 9 years old. An unforgettable time for me. Make a lot of friends with a vehicle like this. So we test drove two vehicles today. The 1951 Ford F1 and a 2021 Ford F-150 Powerboost. What a difference 70 years makes. Thanks for watching.
My name's John Paul. I'm AAA Northeast car doctor, and from time to time I get to talk to interesting people on Car Conversations With, and this time the with is with Jamie Brewer. She is the vehicle chief engineer at General Motors, and especially for the Cadillac Lyriq. Jamie, thank you for joining us on Car Conversations.
Thanks for having me, John.
Well, the Cadillac Lyriq is Cadillac's all-electric vehicle. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so the Cadillac Lyriq is Cadillac's very first all-electric vehicle, and it's the first vehicle off of what's been known previously as our BEV3, which is our third generation of dedicated EV architecture. So it will be a two-row SUV, 5-seat vehicle with a 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It has about 300 miles of range on a full charge. But it will be a Cadillac. It will have all of the bells and whistles and all of the creature comforts and the luxury and the styling that is expected of a Cadillac. It comes with our new Ultium platform, so it will have the new Ultium battery chemistry, as well as the drive units and the integrated power electronics that I'm sure you've heard so much about and that are rolling out across GM electric vehicle products, including the Hummer. But we will be the first Cadillac with it.
So probably unlike the Hummer, though, it doesn't have 10,000 foot-pounds of torque, does it?
It does not have 10,000 foot-pounds of torque. It has 440 newton meters of torque, though, so it's still pretty good at 340 horsepower, and that's on the rear-wheel drive variant. We will eventually be bringing in an all-wheel drive variant, and we'll have some more numbers to share on all-wheel drive. So if you think about the Hummer, they have more drive units stacked up, and they also have more battery modules stacked up to get the energy and to get the power for the Hummer. And given the weight of the vehicle, it makes sense, right?
And you described the size of the battery. It's a pretty substantial size battery in this, which I guess really leads to that 300 miles or so of range.
Correct. It's a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. If you think about it in terms of modules, if you look at the way the Ultium battery system has been engineered, it's been engineered in a very modular fashion. So we are able to stack and scale our batteries for small vehicles all the way up to the Hummer. So from a module perspective, our battery packs can handle anywhere from 6 modules, 8, 10, 12. The Hummer has 26 modules. On the Lyriq's launch vehicle, it will be a 12 module battery pack, and that equates to about 100 kilowatt hours of energy.
And to kind of put it in size perspective, sort of XT5-ish, is that?
Longer wheelbase.
Okay.
And slightly wider, but yes.
Okay. So not quite an Escalade.
Not quite an Escalade, no,
Okay.
but we would call it an expressive Lux 3 segment, if you will, SUV. Low sloped roofline, still a nice wide stance, tons of interior occupant space as well as cargo space, lots of room, axle to dash. When you take a look at the front end, you're going to see a lot of axle to dash. You're going to notice a lot of front passenger compartment space. We did a lot of things in the design and the development of the battery pack and the way that we did our transmission shifters to really open up the space in the passenger compartment for the occupant. So it's going to feel extremely spacious to you. But I would take an XT5, slightly more wheelbase, slightly more width, and that's what you're looking at from a size perspective.
And this is a big part of Cadillac and General Motors' push to go all electric.
Yep.
The date, I think, is 2035.
We expect 30 new global EVs by 2025, and then we want to go all electric. I believe 2035 is the date, but don't quote me on that. I don't have that off the top of my head. But yeah, significant push to go all electric within General Motors, and this third generation battery electric platform that the Lyriq is based off of, as well as the Ultium drive and the Ultium battery system, is really the cornerstone of that. And then Lyriq has the prestige of being the first vehicle off that platform.
And you mentioned batteries quite a few times. And how about battery production? Where is it? Where are the batteries coming from? Is it General Motors that's producing their own batteries? You're buying them separately? How's that work?
Yeah, so we have the joint venture now with LG Chem. So Ultium Cells LLC, which is the joint venture now between General Motors and LG Chem. We are producing batteries through that joint venture. We have already announced a battery manufacturing site in Lordstown, Ohio. We had just recently, last couple of weeks, announced a second battery production site in Spring Hill, Tennessee, and the Cadillac Lyriq vehicle has actually been announced to be produced in Spring Hill, Tennessee as well. So we are setting up our vertical integration strategy, if you will, to make sure that we have batteries that we produce and that we own with LG Chem, and make sure that our supply chain is robust to our vehicle builds.
You know, there's there's range anxiety fears with electric vehicles. There's safety fears with electric vehicles. 300 miles of range seems to be, in my mind, seems to be that magic number, that 300 miles can take you more places than you probably ever need to go on any given day. Was that the number that you were sort of shooting for based on some conversations you've had with potential customers?
Every major decision we've made as we've been developing both the third generation EV platform as well as the Ultium system and the Lyriq in general has been based on customer clinics and conversations with our customer base. We, as well as leveraging our 25 years of EV experience, right? If you think about General Motors history, we've been doing electric vehicles now for a very long time, as well as HEVs and PHEVs, et cetera. So we have a lot of knowledge in there. But we have spent significant time surveying our customers and talking to current EV drivers as well as EV considerers. We know that a typical average daily commute is about 40 miles. So when you look at a vehicle with 300 miles of range, when you look at a vehicle with the DC fast charging rates that we've got, I mean, we can DC fast 90 kilowatts. You can get 195 miles of range in half an hour. So when you look at the type of daily driving that our customers have, and you look at the speed with which we've enabled charging, we thought that 300 miles of range was sort of that sweet spot where we're able to provide them with the capability that they needed in a vehicle and still get to a price point that we thought was appropriate for the vehicle that we were delivering to the market.
And let's think about the range and the recharge time for a little bit. A 300-mile range, you're not going to go to zero, but you're going to find a place to recharge. You're going to stop and have lunch somewhere, and at where there's DC fast charging, and you're going to put another 200 miles into that car. So this is easily, pick your stops a little bit, but this is easily a car you could drive from New England to Florida, just finding your stops along the way.
Yeah, and we're going to help you find those spots. We have an energy assistance app within the vehicle where you can map out your route, and it will recommend to you based on your preferences where to stop to charge, at what your range will be at certain points in time along the route, where there is a charge network along your route. You can specify the type of charger, if you want to use the EV Go, if you have a certain type of charger that you want to use. Do you want a level 2 charge? Do you want a DC fast charge? You can put all of those requests and criteria right into the onboard app, and it will recommend for you. It will even tell you if there's chargers currently in use or chargers currently available to you. So we're taking all of that guesswork out of it to really help you plan your trip with some confidence so that you're not waiting around for a charger. We'll help guide you to where you need to get to so you can charge your vehicle and be on your way.
And my kind of EV research has shown that a lot of people are going to just charge at home. They're going to set up charging stations at home, in their garages or wherever. Is that kind of what your research has shown as well?
Yeah, it has. A high percentage of charging will happen first at home and second at work, with the on-the-go charging probably being third. The at-home charging that we're offering, and we are offering highest by industry standards, we're going to offer up to 19.2 kilowatt level 2 AC charging at home. So that's the highest level 2 home charging available by the industry. And you can also obviously still use a 7.2, you can use an 11 kilowatt, but to go as high as 19.2 kilowatts, you're going to get somewhere around 52 miles an hour when you're plugged in at home, which is significant compared to EVs on the road today.
I just need to make sure I have enough electricity in my house for that, right?
Yeah, you got to make sure that the amperage you've got coming out to your garage is suited to the kilowatts that you want, right? But GM, if you go to, I think it's Chevy Living Electric, they will actually help guide you as far as what amperage you need for what kilowatt, and make recommendations even on service providers and units to purchase.
Oh, that's great information to know. And again, the idea of this is not just an electric car, it's an electric Cadillac, and you get in a Cadillac and you expect a certain level of luxury, and The last Cadillac I was in also had Cadillac Super Cruise, which was pretty phenomenal. We'll see Super Cruise in the Lyriq?
Absolutely. In fact, our first year of production, Super Cruise will be standard. So we're very excited. We'll have the next gen Super Cruise that you're seeing now in the Escalade. It'll have the lane change on demand. It'll have all the latest functions and features within it. And yeah, Super Cruise, it's one of my favorite features. I really enjoy driving with it. If you've seen any of the commercials that have been out there lately with celebrities that are using it for the first time and really enjoying the safety features of it, as well as just the convenience and comfort of it, you're going to start seeing more and more Super Cruise, I think. But yeah, for sure on the Lyriq.
Yeah, and it really and Super Cruise, we know it's not going to take the place of the driver behind the wheel, but all of a sudden you become part of that driving team. So you're the driver, the car is helping you, and the safety system all work together to make it a safe trip when you're out on the road. So that's one of it. But then there's the creature comforts inside a Cadillac. And the last Cadillac I was in had an enormous display screen. Took up the whole dash, and it was seamless and beautiful, and it was well done. Is that the type of features we're going to see inside the Lyriq?
Oh, absolutely. So actually the infotainment screen in the Lyriq is probably one of my favorite features. It's going to be a 33-inch diagonal advanced LED display. It is going to have the highest pixel density in the industry. You're going to have more than 1 billion colors available on this screen. So the entire, from the cluster all the way through the ICS area, the integrated center stack area, is going to be one large curved LED screen. It will be touch-based, as well as having a multifunctional controller in the console area. So you'll be able to control your screen from a variety of different ways, as well as steering wheel control. So we're going to give the user a lot of options for how they want to control their content. You'll have a lot of opportunity to move apps around, set up your home screen the way you like, set up your all of your different search functions and settings, and it will be quite intuitive and also very interactive.
It sounds amazing. And so we have high tech features, we have high tech drivetrain, but one of the things that we still count on with Cadillac is comfortable interior, comfortable seats, and Cadillac Ride. And are we going to see that in the Lyriq as well?
Yeah, I would say so. If we start with the seats, and seats happens to be a passion of mine because I've spent a lot of my career actually working in the area of the vehicle. And I will tell you, I'm extremely proud of the seats that you're going to have in this vehicle. We have cut no corners here. These seats, they are brand new seat architecture, just like the vehicle is a brand new architecture. It was the perfect time for us to start with a clean sheet of paper on the seats as well. We've made sure that from a width perspective, we made sure that from a foam thickness and density and firmness perspective, we are tuning these seats in to be some of our most comfortable ever. And I think that when you get in the vehicle and you drive it, you'll notice that. From a ride and handling perspective, though, I got to tell you, the pre-production vehicles I've been in so far, and we're still in the tuning phases, but these are some of the most comfortable, easy riding, I'll say, vehicles, but also just road hugging and fun to drive. And a lot of that is attributed to the battery pack. If you think about all of that center of gravity so low in the vehicle, and part of the reason our stance is so wide is because we took the battery pack all the way out to the rockers, and we made the battery enclosure actually a structural member of the vehicle's chassis. So we've got all that inherent stiffness now from the battery pack right up into the vehicle structure. And so when you turn and when you corner, you're getting that great road hugging experience, but you're also getting, we've got the 5-link independent suspension in the rear, the 5-link SLA in the front. We did all of that from the ground up, again, because this was a blank piece of paper. So from a ride and a handling perspective, we've really, we've tuned this in quite a bit already, even in the pre-production phase. And so now we're doing the fine tuning details, I would say.
How soon before we actually see production vehicles, and how soon before we go to the Cadillac dealer and buy one?
Yeah, so what we revealed is what the production vehicle will be. It's off our pre-production build facilities right now as we continue to ramp ramp up. But we expect to launch in the first quarter of next year. So we'll start getting them, you'll start seeing them in late spring next year. I think in September, we'll start taking reservations.
So September reservations, on sale, hopefully first quarter of 2022. Has there been any kind of prices announced yet?
Yes, 59,995, I think is the number that I heard for the first launch variant that's coming out. So it's a nice price point.
Yeah, that's I based on everything you told me up to this point, I was going to guess it $10,000 to $15,000 higher.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fantastic news. If people want to keep up with Cadillac or General Motors electric vehicle efforts, where can they go? Is there a website?
Well, GeneralMotors.com. Yeah, so if you go right to GeneralMotors.com, it will direct you to all of our various brand sites. But at the Cadillac.com site, there is a specific Lyriq page that you can go to. It'll show you all the latest images, interior and exterior. It gives you a lot of the specs that I just talked through today in more detail. And it gives you opportunities to communicate and ask questions even about the Lyriq and get some more information. So, and then again, on the Chevy Living Electric site is where you can get a lot more information about our commitment to helping to build the charging infrastructure and some recommendations we might have if you want to put a charging station in your home.
Fantastic. I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day and joining us on AAA Car Conversations with.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
I'm Clifford Atiyeh, VP in NEMPA. Just finished a nice, long, happy, refreshing day with car gurus. And honestly, right? Isn't this a normal sight? This is the Subaru Outback Wilderness. In New England, these cars essentially are like the state birds. That's our joke around here, but that's exactly what they are. I honestly never loved Subarus before, even though I was seeing them on a regular and sometimes minute-by-minute basis. But the more time I spend with the Outback, I just love the comfort, the utility. Honestly, my mom is loving this, and she drives a Mercedes. She wants to get into something like this because, honestly, in New England, right, you see these boulders, they just pop up out of nowhere. Holes, dirt roads, trails. You don't really want to take a normal car on a lot of places. And a Subaru really does go there. It goes there far and beyond. Lots of vehicles say they're adventurous, it can take anything. A lot of it is marketing hype, right? A car like this, though, it's actually real. 9.5 inches of clearance here. Jesus, seriously, it's so much more than a regular Outback. It's as much as many pickup trucks. These tow hooks here, new fog lights. I love the decal, these smaller wheels, the all-terrain tires. It's basically everything that Outback owners were doing before to their own cars, and Subaru's offering it with a factory warranty, and it's all been retuned for better performance. Gotta say, if this is your all year round car, it should be. Turbocharged engine too. So, I like to drive fast, and this car can keep up. I'll say it again. People in New England love a good bargain, and they also just like tough, durable things. That's what Subaru is. I get it. I drive a Volvo. That's a bit weird. So is this. But it's a good weird. It's something we can all understand. It doesn't matter how much money you make or what other cars you have. A Subaru in the driveway, it's always going to look good. And that's what I'm about to do. It's a long way down. Whew. Got a long drive too. See you guys.
Rev it.
I hope you liked the episode. Tune in next time for Drive New England. I'm Craig Fitzgerald. See you next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe.